Hey, it's Rich back with you for another video. We're standing in front of a Cessna 182 that we're going to take up for a flight. I have Bobby Cook here. Bobby is our general manager at OCR, and Bobby and I have known each other for more than 20 years, been around aviation most of your life in FBO management, maintenance, and parts sales, and spent a lot of time around airplanes but never actually flying one. So we're going to take him up and give him an intro flight, let him try to land the airplane and see how he does. What are you thinking?
Should be very interesting.
Yeah.
Been doing this for 20 years, never been on the yoke, so it'll be interesting.
See how it goes. Yeah, yeah. We're
looking forward to it. A little nervous, but you know, it's an airplane.
Yeah, it'll be fun. You got motorcycle background,
a little bit of
operation
dirt bike.
equipment. Yeah,
I was better at crashing though than I was staying on the two wheels.
So we're gonna make sure we don't crash, but we're gonna take you along for the ride and see how Bobby does.
Yep.
Mike Romeo's ready, 26 left turn at the river. You'll just kind of go out that way.
Alright, this is when the nerves kicked in.
It's 5-8 Charlie Mike on the RNAV.
You got this, Bobby.
It's like anything, you know, it's awkward as hell until it's not. Left turn at the river, 7 Mike Romeo.
Clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 26 left, 7 Mike Romeo. Nice, perfect.
758 Charlie Mike on the RNAV Zulu, full stop.
Yeah, come back on the power just like you did, go around the light,
contact SoCal departure.
And then just slowly start adding that power in and look for the center line. And it will take a little bit of right rudder
run like 30, clear to land.
To stay on the center line.
30, Charlie Mike.
Beautiful. Now just slowly roll that power in and keep her straight with your feet.
Oh,
it's alright, it's alright. Keep bringing that power in, you're doing good. This is normal. This is what it takes. You just got. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Add the power, full power.
Request a left crosswind at the river.
That's all right. That's normal.
4 Delta C.
You're okay now. Just back pressure, a little bit of back pressure.
4 Delta
A little more. A little more. A little more. Nice.
Help.
You're all right.
November.
Just keep your head.
You're good.
November 9er Whiskey Charlie for traffic.
We're accelerating.
Right 360.
Everything's looking good. Now just take some of that left rudder out. Just okay, there you go. Keep your feet on the floor, heels on the floor.
November 14th.
Keep those wings level.
All right, help me out though.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
But I'm myself.
It's normal.
Number 14 is here, stand by.
Why is it flying
because
sideways?
Because you're using your feet too much. Just relax your feet for a second.
Okay.
And then pitch up a little bit. There you go. Good.
Clear runway 30 at Delta 4. Request frequency change to
You're just giving it. You're just over controlling the rudders.
Help me out.
A little bit of left. There you go. Just bring that left wing down. There you go.
I'm not liking this.
You're actually doing really good. Just keep doing what you're doing. Relax your grip. That's, you know, just kind of take a couple deep breaths. Relax your.
All right, help me out with the pedals though, so we can.
I got. Yep. You're looking good. The pedals are just fine.
Whoa.
Just a little turbulence.
26 left, clear for takeoff. Roger.
And the airplane wants to fly, so you know, left on its own accord, it's going to fly.
But why are we banking?
Just because it's a little bit of turbulence kicking you off a little bit to the right. So just bank a little bit to the left, center them up.
Verify left river, turn left river for traffic.
We're turning left at the river, 7 Mike Romeo.
Thank you, number 4 Delta
left river for traffic. Good. Just look at it.
Completely awkward.
Yeah, it's very awkward. See the river?
Number 4 Delta, you wanted south, correct?
This is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Just keep doing it.
Long Beach 4 Delta.
Just look out there and try to keep those wings level once we get over the river. Once we get out there, we won't have the turbulence kicking you left and right. Nice.
Number 44 Foxtrot, contact SoCal. West Coast 80.
Just stay just on this heading right here. Perfect. We're climbing. Speed's good. We're climbing.
November 340 exit here and contact.
Everything's good.
The frequency, stay intentions.
I didn't like going sideways.
Lima pop by exit here.
We're going to practice. You're going to feel those rudder pedals once you get some altitude. Get out over here a little bit. And that'll help.
Charlie Mike. Taxi via Juliet 2, hold short of runway 26 left.
Why am I sweating so much?
Hold for 26 left with you, Charlie Mike.
Get some air here.
So we're passing 1,500. We're going to climb up to 3,000.
So slowly or just?
Yeah, this is perfect. You know, you're doing about 80 knots in a climb. Get a little more power.
West Coast 89, start your left turn heading 200.
Left turn, 200, 89.
So now we're out of 2,000, climbing 500, 400 feet a minute, 85 knots on our way to 3,000.
Departure, West Coast 89.
West Coast 89.
I just, for some reason, the pedals, I can't.
Well, I'm going to do a couple of exercises with you, and you'll have them figured out.
Line 926 there, thank God.
A lot of it is, it's a good lesson in anxiety and panic.
I think the takeoff was a little panic.
And when you panic, and not you, but anybody panics, ability to act in a way that takes you out of the situation goes away.
Right.
When people panic, it's over. And that's what kills a lot of pilots, honestly. Because they get in a situation, they panic, and it's over. They don't make good decisions. They do opposite of what they should do, and it's all over.
Well, on the takeoff, that was definitely panic.
Yeah, and so you hit a little bit of brake, and it skidded, and that caused anxiety to go up, but no big deal. Okay, now we're out of 2,500 for 3,000. Now it's getting cool, it's smooth. At first, you know, down low where it's hot, you don't have as much air coming through these vents.
Number 4 Tango Sierra, frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, 4 Tango Sierra, okay.
Okay, now I want you to roll into a turn to the right. Give it a little bit of right rudder as you make the turn and keep the nose up. And remember, you got to pull it back just a touch. Perfect. We're going to aim for the island out there and then wings level. Beautiful. Nice turn. Now straighten it back out. And then as you straighten it out, the wings are developing vertical component lift so you can push the nose over a little bit. Okay, we're out of 28, 29. Okay, this is where it gets tricky now. You're getting to 3,000, so I want you to just slowly push the nose over, and you're going to see more of the horizon out there. And you're going to accelerate, and as you accelerate, yeah, pull a little power back, and I'm going to give you some down trim too, because as it goes faster, it wants to climb, so we got to trim it down. This is nice. And then you can kind of let go and see what it does. Does it go up or down?
It wants to go down a little bit.
To go down, so give it a little back trim. And we're going to pull the power back just a little bit more. Good. So look at that. You're kind of holding 3,000 feet. Pick out something out there, the south end of the island, and just kind of aim for it and look out there instead of, you know, close in. See how the nose is up a little bit? Right. So push the nose down. See the nose coming down, push it down a little bit more. Right about there's level. Okay, now for landing, we're going to use flaps.
Correct.
To slow us down.
Right.
So I want you to watch what happens when we put in flaps 10. Okay, you're flying, I'm going to drop flaps 10. And just feel what happens. Here goes flaps 10. Nose comes up, right?
Right.
It's because,
whoa.
A lot. Push down, you're good. That's just the aerodynamics, more lift coming from the flaps. So now when you anticipate it, you know what's going to happen, but that's another thing that throws people off is they don't anticipate the flap.
I didn't think it would go up that much.
Yeah, and so you trim it down, but once you know, it's no big deal. You hold it off, you trim it down. But we'll be adding flaps and what flaps do is they allow the airplane to fly slower with the more lift from the flaps, so you can slow it down to land.
So as I'm coming in and we apply flaps, I still want to push down on the nose?
Push down on the nose. So I'm going to add flaps again, okay? You're going to push down, and I'm going to give you a little down trim. Just hold it off. Don't let it balloon up on you. And then we're going to trim it, and that'll take some of that pressure off, okay? Now is it less pressure?
Less, a little bit, but it still wants to go up. Yeah, that's
better?
less.
Okay, now what I want you to do is pull some power back. Let's go back to 12 on the manifold pressure and push the nose down. Okay, and I want you to get the idea of what it's going to look like when you land. Yeah, push it down a little more. So this is what it's going to look like when you're coming into land. So just leave it like that. And now just make a turn. Nice turn to the left. It's just like we're coming in, and the runway's over there. And we're just turning towards the runway. All right? This is exactly what you're going to do on the landing. See that boat out there? Pretend that's the runway. So level off and just point yourself at that boat and just fly it towards that boat in a nice descent. And I'll give you some down trim. You'll keep that, see how it's about that far off the nose, so just keep it right there. That's like the runway, and you're just coming in to land on the runway. And the closer you get, the more references you get to speed, and then your mind starts saying, wait a second, this is different than what I've seen, because we've been out here flying around at altitude and you don't really get a reference. Okay? So you're aimed right at it. And what happens is your brain starts to recognize things in compartments instead of it just being all a blurry mess. And you start to, as you get familiar and comfortable, your brain starts saying, oh, okay, I get this, now I get this. And it slowly creates a picture. It's like the first time I remember looking in the cockpit of an airplane, looking at all those dials, I was like, there's no freaking way I'll ever know what any of that stuff is. No way. Well, once you figure out what it all is, it becomes easier. All right, you see the Queen Mary?
Yep.
The dome?
Yep.
So you're coming up on 2,000 feet, so push the nose over. Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to trim the pressure off. So just roll the trim down until it doesn't want to climb anymore. Push the nose down, there you go, until you don't have any pressure. Is that better?
Yeah.
And there's nice, and just point it. So you're 2,000 feet and you're pointing at the Queen Mary. That's all there is to it. Now you also have electric trim here, and you can bump that to go down or pull it to go up, depending on what you need. But you should be able to let your hands off, and it shouldn't really, so you got to trim pretty nice. Maybe a little bit of back trim. So just like just a little bit, yeah, down. There you go, it's probably enough. And you just always tweaking the trim. So what you're doing is trimming it for a specific speed, which is about 100 knots, right?
Yep.
Once it's trimmed, you don't really have to even do anything. Now, the interesting thing about airplanes is, if you pull the power back now, the airplane is going to seek that speed. So what it's going to do is put the nose down to gain speed, because it wants to hold 100 knots, because you have a trim for 100 knots.
Gotcha.
If you added power, it would pitch up, because it wants 100 knots, and to maintain 100 knots, it has to pitch up. So we trim them for speed. See how that speed's hanging right in there? 100 knots.
Get past the takeoff, get past the landing, I'm good.
Yeah.
I can sit here all day.
Yeah, it's easy to fly. I mean, really, especially learning, we disrupt and disturb airplanes. They want to fly, and we screw them up. And if you just let it do what it wants to do and be able to recognize a few things, then it's a piece of cake.
Basically on takeoff, I know what I kind of started getting off, so I hit the brake
and also I'm telling you that the mental power of 40 years of driving a car and steering with your hands, you can't break that in one lesson.
Brakes change for helicopter 6 Echo X-ray.
Now, the important time to have your feet not on the brakes is on landing.
Correct.
Right? So make sure your heels are on the floor, and when you push, look at my feet. I'd even put your toes way down there to make sure they don't get on the brakes. And then, once we get the airplane on the ground, we get everything settled down, then I'm going to say, okay, now it's time for brakes. Then put your feet up on your toes and just slowly brake. Not in a hurry, you don't have to jam them on. Feel them grab. Like you notice, one of them's going to pull a little bit, so add a little bit to the right and just keep it straight and then taxi off.
So airports.
Yeah, you see the Queen Mary?
Right.
And then if you look off the coastline just to the right, you'll see Signal Hill. It's kind of hard to see.
Right.
But once we get to the Queen Mary, then we'll turn for Signal Hill, and then we'll turn that way.
Okay, Signal Hill's kind of straight ahead.
Yeah, so we want to go to the Queen Mary first. You see the breakwater and the brake?
Yep.
That's Queen's Gate. That brake is Angel's Gate. So we call the tower at Queen's Gate, and they know right where we're at.
Juliet Alpha on final RNAV, runway 30.
And when we get around 1,000 feet by the city, you'll hear that more.
Full stop, 952 Juliet Alpha. 952 Juliet Alpha, Roger. Caution, turbulence, a CRJ and a Boeing 737 will depart
Perfect
runway
altitude.
30,
Caution, obstacle ahead.
30, clear.
Okay, now you can kind of turn and head to Signal Hill. When we get to Signal Hill, we're going to turn right and be heading out that way, paralleling the runway, going the opposite direction of how we're going to land. Then we make a base and then a final.
2 Juliet Alpha, what type of approach are you on?
2 Juliet Alpha is on the GPS approach for runway 30.
Okay, Roger.
That altitude up just a little bit.
Falcon 82
There
Charlie,
you go.
SoCal departure.
We're SoCal now, 82 Charlie.
Cessna 6 Sierra Alpha, it's going to be about 3-minute delay for you.
No worries.
There's a
The 635 Sierra
rule that says when you're over populated areas, you should be at least 1,000 feet above
Takeoff 26
the
left, out of
ground.
1,000.
Why is that?
Just because safety and they don't want you flying too low. Say again for 7 Mike Romeo.
7 Mike Romeo, extend downwind.
We will extend downwind 7 Mike Romeo.
So now it's hard to see.
Yeah, and if you want, you can add a little power too. That's okay. Actually, the better thing to do is add flaps. That'll get you a little altitude and then trim it down. So put a notch of flaps in.
651, turn right, kilo, contact ground.
Kilo to ground, Skyzer.
And now you're going to have to push forward.
Is that one notch?
Yep. Push forward and then trim if you need it.
Trim up?
Down. Other way.
Runway 20 right.
Or you can bump that switch that way. That's not working. I'll help you.
Sorry.
That's all right. Now turn out that way.
Sky 613 Alpha, Long Beach Tower, left at the river, runway 26 left, clear for
How's
takeoff.
that feel?
Feels better.
You're just working on holding your altitude and paralleling the runway out there. This is a good heading. Hold this heading for a little bit. Now, do you see the tower?
Yeah.
And the runway's right beyond it. A little bit that way. Looking good. How's the trim feel?
467.
It feels good.
The CRJ that just departed will
But
be
this is where I get
runway 30.
real nervous.
Yep.
Takeoff runway 30, Southwest 20.
All we're doing is doing like we did out there with the boat. Just aiming for the runway, pulling some power back.
Why is it wanting to go?
Long Beach Tower.
Is that the wind?
Yeah, probably the wind. And it's bumpier over the city than the
Ocean.
And the ocean.
Tower, staying in position.
So he told us to extend downwind, which is actually good. So we'll get to go further out and you can get a longer shot at the runway.
Enter left down.
Maybe a little bit that way.
Straight in left. Straight in for runway 26.
Just try to relax your hands and don't. This is where the male now is starting to get a little anxious, so he's trying to over control and
2000, contact
grip it tighter and manhandle it.
2467, just want to confirm clear for takeoff 30.
Southwest, affirmative. Clear for takeoff.
Southwest 2467.
Long Beach Tower, Skyhawk 8.
I'm having trouble trying to keep it damn straight now.
It's alright. That's just because of the
Turbulence.
5 Sierra Pop,
turbulence
maintain at or below your current altitude. Traffic just ahead
and
to your right, CRJ.
anxiety a little bit because of knowing the landing's coming.
We're maintaining altitude. We've got traffic inside at 5 Sierra Papa. Roger. 7 Mike Romeo, you can start your base turn, square your base to final for runway 26 left, clear to line.
Turn in base, we'll square the base to final, clear to land,
What's
26
that mean?
left. That means go all the way out and turn, don't like cut the corner. Okay, now reduce your power and let the nose fall.
Left, clear for takeoff.
Just a little bit, reduce your power.
Oh, that's
Yeah. And the nose is going to come down, that's okay, yeah. Keep turning.
Long Beach Tower.
Perfect, that's good. Now just hold this attitude, right? See the relationship there? And we got kind of wide, so maybe turn a little bit more to the left. That's right. Right about there. You see the runway?
Yeah.
So as soon as you think it's time to start turning to line up, but don't do it too early because he wants us to square it.
2467.
That's about.
Say another couple of seconds here. I'll tell you when to start turning. Okay, now you can start turning. And then keep letting that nose come down. Just gradual. We're looking for a nice gradual And now we're trying to pick up the runway center line. Just think of that boat out there in the water, and you're just trying to line up on that boat.
50.
Beautiful.
Maintain 2000. Contact SoCal departure.
Beautiful.
Okay, maintain 2000, left heading 250, southwest 2467.
And the wind is probably pushing you this way, so you may have to crab into it a little bit. Maybe reduce a little power, just maybe a little bit, tiny little bit.
Papa. Can we get an early frequency change? 50 Papa, altitude discretion, appreciating. Actually, maintain that below 1,500. Traffic.
A little less power.
Views of Boeing 737 turning southwestbound at.
Okay, I'm going to add another notch of flaps for landing, and I'm going to help you. Don't stress too much about this.
Looking for traffic, maintain current altitude.
I want to keep you stable.
Change approved after.
How does that feel?
That feels fine.
Okay, that slowed us down some.
Right.
And just try to relax and just focus on that. Keep focusing down the runway.
November 2, Juliet Alpha, left Delta 4, same contact ground.
Left Delta 4 contact ground, to Juliet Alpha.
November 30, Charlie, runway 26 left, clear the line.
Nice and relaxed. You just see how the wind's pushing you a little bit to the left, so just bank a little bit to the right. Or it's pushing to the right, bank a little bit. There you go, perfect.
Frequency change.
Okay, now pitch up just a little, just a touch, right there, that's good. Okay, now you can pitch back down.
037
Good.
Victor, Long Beach Tower.
Good. You're going to want to over control because things are going to start coming into reference a lot more.
13 Alpha, free change approved.
Looking good, and the wind's blowing you to the right. Good, good, excellent.
Or 2 miles south of you.
Excellent.
So am I fighting you?
No, you're just fighting it. You're just over controlling. Keep that nose pointed down. Good job. Good job. Just let the airplane fly. Now look down the runway. Don't look close. Look way down there. We're just trying to fly it right over the runway.
111 Quebec.
Okay, I got the power. And we're going to straighten the nose out with some rudder. See that? Just hold that right there. Hold it. Beautiful.
Oh,
that's all right. You're all right. You're all right. Just feet on the floor. Feet on the floor. Okay, now reach up to the top with your brake and just slowly add easy. We don't have to. We got plenty of runway. So if you don't like what you're doing, just release. There you go. Slowly add brakes. Good. Try to work yourself into the center.
Romeo,
Why isn't it? There we go.
And then contact ground.
Roger. Okay, we just keep rolling. Now you can let go of the brakes and just roll. And I'm going to tell you when to start braking again.
Long Beach Tower, runway 30, clear to land.
Okay, now start slowly.
See, it wants to go that way every time.
Yeah, that's right. You're doing good. You're doing good. Okay, now release. And now give it some left rudder and go around the corner. Just rudder, no brake.
All right, Bobby.
Nice.
Woo, 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 woo.
And then straight ahead and stop.
See, it still wants to.
Yeah, it's pulling to the left for sure. Okay, flaps up.
Now 52139, we adjust the parking.
And switch to ground.
Okay, back on the ground here after that flight. Another first-time flyer. I didn't realize it. I thought you'd flown before, but that's the first time you've ever been in the left seat of an airplane and in control. And you were pretty much in control. I let you be in control. Taxi out, take off, climb, cruise around. You got comfortable kind of cruising around and come back and land. And you were, like I was saying, we wouldn't normally do that on the first lesson. What'd you think?
Takeoff, out of control. Once I got out over the ocean, it was, once we leveled off and it was fine, it was fun, it was relaxing. I mean, you seen me, I took my hand off the yoke a couple times, but coming in and leaving, it's definitely a different animal.
Yeah.
And it's the pedals come and play a lot. That's what I'm thinking. And then you're trying to steer, which it doesn't steer.
And
so
it's
there was a couple riches, as you guys will see in the video. Quite a few of them.
That's
but
right.
after 22 years, I did enjoy it. Or 20 plus years. I wish maybe I would have started a long time ago, but I just never thought about flying. Just come do my job. And
it's fun. It's really fun for me to
sit in the back.
Yeah, it's fun for me to watch people get to take their first flight. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.